Genshin Impact breaks new records in responding to criticism of their game in under a week with the release of the Imaginarium Theater. Greetings everyone and welcome back to the developer discussion where we finally have some good news because the last one, well, there's a reason we didn't make a video on it. Coach Creations, read it so you don't have to, and leave a like and subscribe for more content like this, and let's dive right into the news. So we have honestly a pretty good one from what I've been able to preview from it, but of course we're gonna go ahead and just run through the whole thing. And the first thing, not even a graphic for it, because typically, as you can see down here, these things are done inside graphics. Boom, front and center, and you know this is going to be something that, you know, is of not only a very hot topic, but also just in general, like, you know, if they're not making a graphic for it, that means like this was attached in, and it is about Imaginarium Theater and people's dissatisfaction and criticism of it. Now, I've said some things on stream about Imaginarium Theater. I really haven't had a chance to make a video about it, but my best view on it is that it sort of has a weird middle ground between, you know, favoring people who have been playing the game long enough, or of course whales, because you need to have so many characters in order to make it through the thing, or, you know, even participate in the first place. But then it also ends up being too easy, so it just ends up being a very lukewarm mode. But like, you know, regardless of that, right, it's okay if something starts out poor. There's always a way to go forward, and that is by improving. And of course, I can definitely see ways that you can improve this mode, you know, and of course Hoyo is recognizing this too, because they're like, hey, so let's talk about this right here. We've added some new features and existing updates, check them out. In addition, the following official launch of the new gameplay mode Imaginarium Theater, we're also continuing to monitor your feedback on this. The initial intention of the design of Imaginarium Theater was to provide travelers with diverse combat experiences through the introduction of new scenarios. However, there are indeed various shortcomings of the current gameplay, particularly the lack of self-sufficient positive feedback for different party lineups during battles. Which, what they mean by that is that basically, you know, you might end up with a team with like literally 3 DPSs, and it's like, what are you gonna do about that? You know, like it kind of doesn't really feel good, you know, when stuff happens like that. Secondarily, you know, in upcoming adjustments, we'll focus on elemental reactions and consider designing more strategically powerful and user-friendly mechanisms for everyone to consider. So actually, this point might more be talking about elemental reactions, if anything, which, to be fair, you know, like they tried to give some support to it, but you know, characters like Risley, and I'll hate them, felt very out of place, you know, inside the Imaginarium, because, you know, I think they definitely have some teams that can function, right? You know, with Pyro, Electro, and Animo, but it still definitely feels a little weird. I remember one of my friends gave me an anecdote. It's like, yeah, I have a Hytham burning for the final chamber. I'm literally screwed. Like, you know, and that's definitely very silly. Secondarily, because there are 3 points inside this whole thing. Furthermore, regarding issues raised by many travelers about the randomness of character acquisition, a mechanic to push a specific character has already been implemented. However, as the effect of the mechanic remains at a subtle level, the actual results are not ideal. In future iterations, we will optimize events of obtaining characters, thus providing multiple options for players to choose in certain instances of the character acquisition. So they're talking about how in Imaginarium Theater, basically, you are getting random characters all the time, you know, through the chambers. Of course, you can pick sometimes your element, right? You can sometimes pick like a Pyro, an Animo, Electro, you know, and that's cool, and you definitely whittle down your options that way. But you know, most of the time you just end up getting a random choice character, and that's not good, because I even recall from my own run, hey, I just got 2 DPSs and they're neither the characters that I want. And it's such a big problem, because like, you know, not being able to have control over, you know, your party really messes it, because Genshin, unfortunately, is a very team-based game. So, you know, you can claim to say, oh, I can make, you know, kind of just like a mixed-up toss-up salad, you know, and call it a team, which you absolutely can, right, with the right ingredients. But, you know, for the most part, it doesn't really feel good to play, and that's why, you know, certain things, especially the final floor, you know, where they put a boss which literally is weak to Numa Usha and also Pyro, and if you don't have those 2 characteristics, you're cooked. So yeah, that's definitely something that needs to be fixed, and also probably just don't put that enemy there in the first place. And the last one right here, optimizations for the Imaginarium Theater are currently under development and will continue to implement subsequent updates. We hope that these changes provide travelers with better gameplay experience. We sincerely appreciate everyone's constructive feedback. Okay, so that's pretty good. Again, I feel like this was added, you know, because Imaginarium Theater literally released this week, so like, you know, they quite literally just added this to the post, and that's totally okay. It's the important thing you know, like I say this with Wuthering Waves, and you know, really just any game that the devs communicate, it's like, hey, we see you guys aren't very happy with this mode, and that it's kind of lacking. I will say that a lot of the posts in the text is kind of nothing burgers, right? And what I mean by that is like they're kind of saying a lot when it actually isn't really saying anything. But give them time. Like I said, this mode, you know, technically released last week. Of course, it does have had more time with it, but the most important thing about, you know, a game is having a wide audience actually playtest it. And that's what we did. And guess what? A lot of us, you know, didn't really like it. And, you know, hopefully the improvements come through with stuff like this. But I mean, time will tell, right? But it's definitely good to see a response like this immediately, because this has never really been a trend we've had inside Genshin, and it's really nice to actually see this, you know, happening in real time. Hey, maybe it's a little pressure from the competition, but you know what I'm saying? Anyway, let's move on to the rest of the developer discussion, where again, that's just the first piece of news. We got plenty of juicy info coming down the line. So here we go. They give you the introduction statement, which is usually up here, and then they swap over to the Imaginarium Theater. So again, they put this in just there. But yes, so this one I'm very excited for, and this one is the encounter points will be accumulated over time. So to be able to help travelers take more control of the game time, from version 4.8 onwards, any excess counter points you gain will be accumulated to long-term encounter points. Expend original Resin through any means, and you'll be able to convert long-term encounter points back into daily encounter points to earn rewards. For every 30 original Resin you expend, you'll be able to convert enough long-term encounter points to attain one reward. Wow, okay, cool. So what this means is that basically you have your standardized encounter points, right? So you go about your day, you know, you do your commissions, you open some chests, you know, you do an event, the usual, right? And that's pretty good. You're always usually a little bit off, you know, I want to say, and like that's fine, right? But the thing about it, it's like you're usually like a percentage off, and it's like, oh, if only I had just a little bit more of an encounter point to finish the job. Well, now by spending, you know, Resin every day, which is something, you know, if you're playing the game, you do every day, you know, you're gonna actually be able to collect this over time, right? I don't know how much the multiplier is, right? But you can see 30 original rating spend, you'll be able to convert enough to obtain one reward. That's pretty reasonable, you know, to get at least one of these points on the board. And that's awesome, because, you know, as much as I you know, treat these games as sort of daily, you know, daily sim games of the sort, or like I only complete my dailies, I always do complete my Resin. And by doing this, I'm going to be able to not only clear, you know, what encounter point system already offers, you know, like I can open chests, I can do events, but now I can also make sure it's completely clean and topped off. That way, if, you know, I have any extra little room on this encounter point system, I don't actually have to worry about it. And that's super duper nice. So again, I'm really happy about this game. I'm super stoked. It will say, it will reset at the beginning of every of the beginning of each version X.0, so it will change you know, per version, but that's not the biggest deal. Like, honestly, that's like no big deal, right? It's good that it exists, right? I'm sure you can math out how many encounter points you can actually get from this, but realistically 30 Resin, not that hard to do. You know, so yes. But anyways, that is that on the whole encounter point system. Again, very big change, you know, that's why I'm putting so much focus on it here, related to Resin, and also this seems a little familiar, in the new version, the respawn time for bosses will be shortened to 10 seconds, with the exception of the wolf boss, which is fine. That makes sense, because that one is a little funky, right? You know, it has a special summoning mechanic, etc., which is fine. You don't want that guy spawning in 10 seconds. 10 seconds respawn time is shocking, because, you know, 10 seconds is almost a little too short. Like, don't get me wrong, I'm very happy for this change, because the current timer is 2 minutes plus. And oh my goodness, that is way too long. It's way too long. Like, here's the thing, I learned it literally when I was talking to a friend earlier today. I'm like, oh, it's 2 minutes. They're like, no, it's actually 2 minutes plus because of reward collection time. I'm like, dude, why is it like this? Like, I literally leave Genshin on the side and play other games because I have to wait for the bosses to respawn. So this is incredible. Now you can just sit inside a boss room and then kill. It's great. Super duper useful. Always love this. Spiral Abyss party screen setup has been optimized. You'll be able to drag character avatars when setting up parties for the Spiral Abyss, making it easier to change the character's position in different parties. In addition, we'll help you find the characters you need faster. We've added an Astro Star mark status to filter options in the Spiral Abyss character view. So Astro mark status I don't think it's that booster that we get from Imaginarium. I think it's literally just the star you give. But yeah, it's very silly to me that there's a starring system in Genshin where you can like favorite characters, and it doesn't really do anything because it doesn't get factored you know, into certain lands. And this is great because I actually do use the star system on my account, and like, you know, I hit favorites on my characters because it just helps me, because I'm like, I usually play the same characters every time in the Abyss, so it's, you know, why not just mark them so I can always have them on hand. It's really, really useful. So that's super duper nice. This one though, specifically, and here's the thing why I talked about, you know, so maybe I'll make a video on it. I do have a script for it, but the last update actually did bring something else related to the Abyss, and of course that is the fact that you know, during this update we actually have the ability to change our artifacts and weapons inside the literal menu of the Abyss itself. And this has been, you know, again, a highly requested feature for years, and then they didn't put it in the other developer discussion. That's so upsetting. You know, that's such a big feature, you know, that people have been asking for, waiting for. And this is the central hub where people are gonna look and see, hey, that change happened, now I'm super happy. And like, even things like this is awesome. Like, it's so annoying. You know, and like, also, by the way, this is something that like the other games don't even have. Like, not even HSR has this, right? But it's so annoying to have to go and click on the left menu and then cycle through all your characters, and it's like, oop, I positioned someone wrong, let me go back. Like, that's a big pain. So I'm really glad this is the case. But yeah, enough about the Abyss, enough about anxiety. New review and hide dialogue feature. Oh my goodness, yes, we have been waiting and waiting and waiting for the game that's about lore and story. Sometimes you know, mostly about lore, but it is so important that we have a feature like this. A dialogue review feature will be added in the new version. From this screen, you'll be able to view the dialogue records for this segment of the story and listen to the voiceovers again. Look at that. Boom. Paimon. Isn't that Jean? It seems like she's talking to someone. Oh my god, dude. I don't even care if Paimon's talking, bro. It's finally freaking here. This is so freaking important, dude. I cannot tell you, like, how many times the game has accidentally skipped dialogue, and I'm like, what the frick happened? You know, like, okay, it's just like, it's crazy, man. Like, this is super useful, again, especially for lore masters, man. Lore masters need to review that dialogue, watch it back. It's so nice. Aside from this, in the new version, there will also be a feature that'll let you hide the dialogue screen. Yes, 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 yes. This makes it so that we can see like those interesting poses, especially because they're starting to work on that a little more. You know, like, don't get them wrong. Of course, like, there's not a lot of animation, you know, sometimes in certain Genshin pieces of quests, but it is really nice to hide the dialogue so you can get those clean screenshots. And, you know, especially, you know, we're trying to make videos, just making like a cool social media post, anything. It's super duper nice to be able to just hide everything so you can see what's happening on the screen behind you. And speaking of hiding the UI, the new UI hide feature. It's not just the dialogue screen that has new features. After version 4.8, you'll also be able to hide the map, party, and other UI elements on the main screen. This will help you enjoy the more immersive adventure in the world of Teyvat. Now, one thing I'm really hoping this applies to domains, because here's the thing, my friend. You can't use your camera in domains. It is so painful. It's like, oh, you can use the zoom lens. No, the zoom lens has to be probably one of the most awful gadgets they've designed for this game. And, you know, like, it's unfortunate that, like, you know, me as a person who really likes taking pictures of this game, is that the zoom lens ends up being really useless because it replaces, you know, your skill. And when that happens, it makes it so that, like, or specifically on Charlotte, when that happens and you use the zoom lens, you can't engage in battle. And it's really bad, right? Like, it's like, oh, I'm in a domain, I get to take pictures. Like, wow, that's great. And now you can't battle anymore. That's very silly. You know, like, you have to, like, go into the menu and then take it back off. Like, that's not something I want to run into when I'm trying to take a picture in a freaking domain, dude. Because, you know, there's enemies coming at me. But anyway, being able to disable UI elements is super duper nice. You can make tons more cinematic shots. You know, a big problem when you're trying to make cinematic shots inside Genshin is that, you know, you're constantly crowded by the UI, so you have to figure out a way to cut it out. It's been such a pain when I try to edit, you know, certain styles of videos. So yeah, that's super big. You know, I'm very happy to see this, and that is going to be the end. Oh, not yet. We have way more action. Way more. Whoa, chill out, buddy. You thought we were done? Yeah, okay. So this one I'll blaze through really quickly. But you know, a lot of nerfs to you know, certain quests and stuff. And here's the thing, I think the one that I'm definitely not okay with is the one where they change the ascensions, because the ascension quest makes sense, because the whole point of the ascension quest is to make sure that, say, hey, you know, you're not ready for this level yet, you need to level up your characters more. So that should have never changed. But these ones make a lot of sense, and they're also like, some of them are a little weird, but like whatever, right? You have a player struggling with, they're struggling with it, no big deal. Anti-raid and Shogun trading makes sense. You know, that one could be potentially hard for newer players. License to glide, I feel like you could get past that, but you know, it is what it is, right? Changes to the world level feature becomes available. So you know, aside from storyline changes, the devs have also changed it so that if you get you know, your party wiped, you can actually adjust the world level from there directly, which again, I mean, I guess that's fine. I think you should never really adjust your world level, but if you're truly getting destroyed, then I mean, like, it is what it is, right? If you want an easier game experience, that's okay. That's what the player base, you know, likes to do. And like, it's not the biggest deal. I think you shouldn't, I really think you should just never lower your world level, but that's just my opinion, right? You don't have to listen to that. All right, let's see here. Now, this is the one I'm very excited for. Difficulty of certain domains in Mondstadt and Liyue have been adjusted. We have noticed that you have not been playing these domains because you hate them. Yeah, we do hate them. That's, I'm paraphrasing, of course. But yes, to address this issue, we have adjusted leyline disorders in some domains. This will be the Cecilia Darden, Forsaken Rift, Hidden Palace of the Zhuang Forma, Domain of Guyun, Hidden Palace of the Lishan Formula. So that is pretty much all their domains. That in Liyue, that's kind of funny. In Mondstadt, it looks like it is just going to be 2 of them, which makes sense because there is a Mondstadt domain that doesn't suck. But there's also these 2 that really suck and are the worst out of them all. But yes, let's take a look right here. So here's the leyline order for leyline disorder for the Cecilia Garden, I believe. Your characters will periodically be inflicted with flowing water, greatly increasing your CD duration, and inflicted the Hydra element until this is removed. And you know, by greatly reducing it, they mean by you know, doubling your skills. So hey, if you're a Tartaglia main and you do a full rotation, are you ready for an 80-second skill cooldown? I love it. And you might as well be 80 on everybody else because that's how long it takes, and it completely destroys your team comp. Also, you can't play Hydro in that one, so that's great too. But anyways, after the adjustment, all characters in the party gain a 75% electro damage bonus. Thank goodness. These domains, here's the thing. I think that, you know, domains can have some sort of challenge to them. It's okay to have a little bit of cool challenge in them, but this one, no, never. Never do that again. Crazy. All right, in addition, we're also making some enemy types. So yeah, they're just changing the enemies out. Well, makes sense, you know, make it easier. That's fine. I have no problem with that. You know, it's a farming domain. We're trying to get through it quick. No big deal. To save storage space on devices, travelers on mobile can use the Past Quest Resource Manager feature. Oh, why is that? From in-game settings, resources, settings and resources to the screen. Screen to the delete resources for completed quests. Have you ever tried this feature? Yes. So this does actually exist, you know, in the game already. It looks like it's going to be coming to mobile first, I think. Or no, it's down here. After version 4.0, we provide a one-time red dot. Travelers who have resources that can be cleared out. I have never used this feature before. Okay, yeah. So this exists on mobile, right? And then, like, you know, it'd be nice it's on PC, but it is definitely something that, you know, already does exist. So they're just kind of like, hey, we're gonna optimize it a little bit, make sure that you guys know it actually exists, which is fine. I think that's an okay thing. And that's the end. Now, of course, the biggest highlight is you know, I mean, let's just take a quick run back, right? Domains fixed. These terrible Mondstadt and Liyue domains. Thank goodness. Oh my god, that's definitely great. I don't agree with all of this too much, but hey, if that's how it is what it is, right? If people are having a hard time, the only one I harshly disagree with is the you know, Ascension quest that they changed all the way back in like 4.4. So, you know, whatevers. Right. UI features, huge, great, makes taking pictures way easier. Dialogue log, hey, log twice. Very, very good. Super duper useful. Gonna be able to apply to everyone in the game, and you know, everyone's gonna be able to use it. Spiral bit changes. You should have talked about this last time. But you know, hey, you're talking about it this time. And this is also, it's good to see that you're actually improving, you know, the Abyss consistently, you know, because that means that you're actually going to be kind of looking at the angle of in-game content, which, you know, speaking of in-game content, immediate response on Imaginarium Theater, finally. You know, like, it's crazy that there's actually an immediate response on this thing. It's really incredible, honestly. encounter points. This is the highlight of the entire one. Being able to just spend resin, and you know, you're not going to get a full commission, but you'll get at least one, right? That's amazing. I think that's really good. Really happy with that. But yeah, that's the entirety of the developer discussion. I just want to put something in here. Of course, like, you know, the video is running long, but you know, I don't care. I want to say my piece. I understand that this patch has not been good. Like, realistically, I have significant criticisms about the patch, both in story and in gameplay, which is very unfortunate because they always knock it out of the park with the trailers, but then you see what happens, you know, like actually in the game, and I'm just like, what happened to this update? I thought I was so excited for it, and now I'm just like super disappointed, right? But regardless, you know, when it comes to these things, and like, it's true, like, you know, there's still, again, there's dozens of underlying issues inside Genshin, right? But like, it's gonna take like time and, more importantly, effort to get these changes to happen. Because I scroll down the comments, I'm not gonna show them on the video, but like, it's just super duper negative. It's like, you know, it's like, oh, okay, it's like this, like, you don't have this and this and this and that, like, you know, it's like, it's silly, right? It's like, this is the time where they're actually putting things, you know, like the commission system, you know, up for grabs that, like, you know, realistically they probably wouldn't have done that before. So it's really nice that they have these things, but it's just unfortunate that that's the case. And like, again, I think it's okay if you need to express like your discomfort, because again, if you've been playing this game for a long time like myself, you know, I do get upset sometimes when like things like really don't make like any sense, you know, like why they can't be changed. But regardless, right, the best thing you can do is, like, you know, definitely see where things are actually, you know, really looking up. Because, you know, the last time I didn't cover the dev discussion because I was very disappointed by how they handled it, but this time they really gave us like news, like real news. You know, the encounter points, again, I'm gonna keep nailing home, the encounter points is so freaking good. Like, it's incredible, you know, what you can do with that. But yeah, it's gonna be baby steps, and like, you know, sometimes it is how it is, and you're okay to be, it's all right if you're upset about it. But, you know, regardless, you know, I'm definitely happy, you know, that these changes, you know, are pretty good ones, you know, not even ones that the community is really talking about, for the most part. But yeah, that is going to be my whole review of the developer discussion for this, you know, sort of the end of the patch. And we will be watching the live stream, of course. Once it goes live, there'll be Astro Carnival casting tomorrow, and I will see you all over there. Here's the stuff, you know, with the drill, and I'll see you all next time. Goodbye.